Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. With us today, happy to have them back now that investing season has begun and small cap business is back in the flow. Dennis Hancock, President CEO of Mountain Valley MD, trades in Canada under MVMD, and for our friends in the US under MVMDF. For those of you new to the story, this is the best way to explain the company because it's unbelievable the technology stack that they have going on, and you can't just explain in one summary, but this is the best way to understand them. They take existing vaccines and drugs and deliver them better. And that's their goal, both into the body and even by transportation to the world, way better than what other people do. On that note, their latest news involves utilizing their vaccine technology to address and develop products for the medical sleep market, strictly using cannabinoids. And the press release is Mountain Valley MD announces letter of intent with Red, White, and Bloom brands. Dennis, welcome back. Good to see you again.
Yeah, great to be here, George. Nice to see you.
So you put out this press release yesterday. Red, White, and Bloom is a pretty big name. I want to start with your quote. So before we get into the press release, it's an honor to work with Brad and his team at Red, White, and Bloom, given their impressive visionary work across the U.S. cannabis space. His initial vision to disrupt the medical sleep space in U.S. key markets is a perfect bullseye as a starting place for our QuickSome technology. There's a lot there. That sounds great.
Yeah.
The first thing I think we have to talk about, because there are going to be a lot of Red, White, and Bloom people watching this, is let's talk about your QuickSome technology, generally speaking, and how that solubilization technology can be applied to various sectors.
Yeah, it's a great starting point. There's really two of our technologies coming together here. So QuickSome really simply is taking, essentially we've done work with over 60 molecules. We take a molecule, we desiccate it, which means dry it out, protect it, and then lay it in a variety of sublingual technology. So sometimes that's a rapid pour stick, like I describe a sugar stick. We've done chew products. And our most famous one that we're having the most success with is a rapid dissolve sublingual tablet, which is just something, a wafer, if you will, that dissolves into your tongue. So that technology is one of our core, the QuickSome, essentially the company founded on that as we started going down, looking at how to deliver molecules more effectively. With this, we do have a QuickSol product that we apply, a technology that we were granted a patent on, which we apply to a macrocyclic lactone drug class. What's interesting is, so there's about 12 drugs that are, very poorly solubilized, if you will, and one of their number one limitations is solubility. So we've taken some techniques from that and we've invented a new way to apply it to cannabinoids. That's something we've been sort of working on for quite a while. In fact, I'll get to that probably at some point in this interview around our original cannabis roots and how we were looking at differentiating what the work that we do. So what's interesting is we have just filed a new patent in this space we've been working on that will, target cannabinoids specifically in certain molecules. So we've essentially got a solubilized technique that enables the cannabinoids to be more effective and then layer them in on our QuickSome technology. So that's the core package we're talking about today.
What does it mean from a third-party credibility point of view that Red, White, and Bloom is partnering with you on this to get this done?
Yeah, so I just love Brad and his team. They definitely, the people don't realize how few multi-state operators there are in their sort of farm to table model, if you will, and very aggressive plans that they have. And that's what I like. I like companies that are,
like the present, they're moving.
Yeah, that just kind of get. We were far along with another partner in a deal that I ended up pulling the pin on. Same thing. They weren't dreaming big enough, in my opinion. And I know our shareholders want to see us move fast. So that's what I like about the perfect storm when we met, and how they're going to, bring this to market, sort of to your question, what do they value in our technology? So today in the medical space, and frankly, even in the non-medical space, one of the biggest challenges with cannabis is depending on your body weight and depending on, the time and your edible and your digestive system, the impact's different and the onset is very unpredictable. So it's what I would just simply say is variability is the enemy in this space. And you hear about this all the time in the party side of cannabis. Someone takes an edible product, they don't get the effect, they take another. I've always said from day one, we wanted it to be like the Coors Light. I'm here, it is, I know what I'm taking. So whether it's in the medical side or the recreational side, you should have the confidence to know what's going in your body. And so what's really cool about our technology is it allows a medical certainty, if you will, with the variability being reduced. And we've seen studies that have shown, as little as 5% variability versus a 40% edible product. And what does that mean? Well, it means a lot more control.
Night and day.
Yeah.
40% variability is a hit and miss. 5%, you're within a very tight range that's acceptable as a delta, right?
Yeah. And then you have the benefit of a sublingual with our technology is, of course, the certainty and a precision of time. So most of our, the sleep product's really cool. You're definitely going to be take this product just as you're getting ready to lay down and you're ready to go to sleep. This isn't something that kicks in an hour. This is like a 5 to 10 minute onset. Wow. And that's another big part of it. So if you're not taking something orally that goes through the digestive system, filtered through your kidneys and all the things that sort of protect, drugs going into your body, this is the opposite. It goes immediately sublingually, crosses into the blood system, and you're able now to get the full effect in a much faster onset.
Who was the catalyst here? Did Red, White, and Bloom come to you and say, hey, Dennis, look, we need something for the sleep market? Did you approach them? And there's a reason why I'm asking this, is there are so many subsectors, that cannabis can be applied to. Why the sleep market? Who's the one who woke up today, pardon the pun, and said, we need a product for this market? I see a gaping hole here that we can fill.
Yeah, that's a really, really interesting question. So how we met, one of my key business development guys has a strong cannabis roots. And so very well connected network. And as we were starting to question the other deal we were far along with, we started looking at, relationships, good partnerships. And when we got introduced to Brad through that kind of common network, we immediately started demonstrating, hey, we could do this, this, and this, and we're able to give samples. To me, the money's in the trying, right? Forget the literature and interviews and all the things that say what it does. So we had a lot of fun with them. Again, very experienced people in the space. So we look at pain relief, sleep, energy. Like we had some of these core categories that we had already been working with. And again, in the rec thing, we've branded Quick Trip as an example. Given the efficacy, we do plan on going after the party space, with the right partner, and that could be Red, White, and Bloom as well. We're going to evolve. Right now, our framework is
potentially come. Good to see.
Yeah, but you have to start somewhere, right? And so when you go down medical certainty with a leading brand, that's a really good place to start, right? So with a company like that, they've got a strong presence in Florida, Michigan, California. Again, lots of different growth things. So it just felt like a natural spot. So to your point, how do you start? So we've given them, a variety of products to sort of, feel out the relationship to the technology. That test, I think we passed in spades, and they were really intrigued. Again, a pretty experienced cannabis company. No games there. Like, does it work? Yes, let's figure out the right formulation. So starting with sleep is, as you may know, a massive starting point for everyone. A great night's sleep is sort of core to your energy the next day and how important it is.
Massive problem. We know that for sure. So good. There's a double-edged sword there. On the one hand, that's a massive market. We know that. I mean, I have a relative the other day who I was coaching on how to finally sleep at night because they're always up at night. I'm not going to mention this, but had to coach them through, hey, you got to do this. Without using anything other than their own natural abilities. But so the great thing is we know it's a massive market, but then it's on the other side. That means there's a lot of competition there. So 2 questions. Would you guys be the first to develop a product and deliver a product to the medical sleep market using cannabinoids? And if so, which would be great, is that market even ready for it?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the medical space, I would say, is already crowded, to your point, in the sense of, there's vape products, there's physical leaf products, edible products, etc. So this for sure will be novel because it's using our desiccated liposome, which is a patented technology. It would be exclusive in the US. So, I was very comfortable saying, even in the press release, about disruptive technologies. And to make that kind of claim, it has to have an extreme value proposition that, to me, satisfies word of mouth. When someone tries it, they're like, wow, confidence of money back guarantee sort of status. Again, how they choose to bring that brand to market, I'm not going to speak for them, but I've always said, if we can't be that confident with the proposition, that it's clear with us, without us, so without a doubt, when I think of disruptive, there's zero doubt when people try this product, it works, and so you have to have that level of confidence, that's the ability to make that statement. So I agree, it's crowded. I mean, it's, I saw something yesterday just in prep for our AGM, and we were talking about the sleep market and some different things. This is like a $50 billion category, right? And then, so what does medical sleep products, what is cannabis, what does that end up being for a company like Red, White, and Bloom? We're happy to kind of do the journey and figure out what can they carve from that space. But it's a big market, so I think there's a lot of room. And if you're differentiated enough, I think there's room to dominate as we plan to.
Well, and the good side of that, because I want to make sure. Look, I always want to make sure we're having good. I'm asking the kind of questions people think of at home. So that no way was putting any kind of water on this.
No.
But the good side is that it's still a massive market for a reason. It doesn't seem like anybody's really been able to solve it effectively. A couple of things here, a couple of some people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just using medical. Some people are using music and apps. The point is, no one's figured it out. So it is a massive market. It's crowded, but I think it's crowded. Dennis would be accurate to say, with 90% of providers who haven't been effective. So the door is open for you guys to succeed.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the reason this partnership came together is because everyone was blown away by the efficacy of the value proposition. And to me, I don't think there'll ever be work we're attached to that doesn't deliver that kind of confidence. A company's not going to pay a licensing fee to Mountain Valley if it doesn't work and blow their customers away. What I love about Red, White, and Bloom, like, if your viewers aren't familiar with them, again, this disruptive energy, but their brands are top drawer. They're aggressive to go to the market, but they've got a discipline. When you see even their High Times brand, like, if you haven't done research on that, you just go and check out their store presence, the brand quality. There's a cleverness, to cut through the clutter, and that's, I think, a really cool. It's a reminder of what is Mountain Valley's value proposition. We are not good at that stuff. I have a lot of.
That's not your specialty.
We are good at giving our partners that have leading skills and that are the best in the business to go and take their products, with or without us. They're going to have their own technology. They're not abandoning their other stuff that works. This is just going to be a complement to where they're already playing, and where it disrupts categories, they'll double down, and where it doesn't, they'll let their other brands shine. So, great formula, great win-win. We do what we do. We give them all of our fruits of our research labor and let them, do the heavy lifting to fit with their brand, reach their customers, and the things that they're good at.
All right. So it seems like all the prerequisites are in order. You got two pretty sharp organizations. You guys are just throwing spaghetti in the wall and seeing what sticks. So all the prerequisites are there, which is great. So now I can kind of feel the investors, right? I can feel them saying, okay, let's get to the business side of things. So how does this roll out from you guys going through, your part to trying to get because this is an LOI, so you intend to have something done by the end of October. So how does it play out? Your end, deal done, take a product to market, and then what does the distribution look like at that point? Is it straight licensing fee? Is it licensing and royalty? So walk everyone through the business side, because obviously
Yeah.
you're in it to make money, and so are they. Let's find out more about that.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, just to the LOI framework, to the agreement, their legal team already has the license agreement, so we've been working on that together. The LOI essentially cherry picked the pieces back out to sign that deal, and then we're going to just finish that off. It's a very fast turnaround. It's only because we've already done the handshake on the frame and the framework of the deal. So then fast forward to October 31st, all goes well. That deal will be officially inked. And again, we'll press release that so everyone's aware to follow the progress. So I expect that to be fairly straightforward. But the tenet of that deal has two pieces. One part I haven't shared prior to now, which is the strategic framework of it. So we have the license, which is every time a product sells, there's a royalty that comes in to Mountain Valley. But the interesting part, obviously in the US, a very regulated market. So one of our strategies for cost effective, we are going to be producing through our partner what I'd call the base formula. And just to keep it simple, just imagine a desiccated liposome of the excipients of the base powder. Then there's a THC overlay, which we will work with them to desiccate into the format, and then they will just simply manage a mixing step and a manufacturing of the final tablet.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay.
So now what we can do with this formula is we minimize them having to replicate a bigger production setup in each of the states, because you can't ship across state lines. And so I think it's a really clever way. In fact, that's why the license agreement that we worked on sort of got updated in concert with the LOI. And we just realized it was a lot for lawyers to sign off on. Let's just simplify an LOI and then we'll finalize that. But that was a strategic piece. And again, I think it's just a really cool when two partners come together and think intelligently. So what that does, it eliminates the square footage in the production facilities that are needed, because we're not replicating that across each state. But it also allows us to ship and centralize that manufacturing piece at a very small centralized cost. And then we can also use that base powder for other products, as we evolve with them. So I think it's a really cool framework. And how that now, to your simple question of what does this look like by the end of the year? The part that I don't want to misrepresent, they're going to fully own how they go to market, their timing, their plans.
For sure.
So I absolutely don't want to, misspeak about how they do it. I know they're very anxious to do this, and they're very confident of what the product is. So I think you're going to see a lot of speed, but I don't want to discount the regulatory approval and the steps that they need to do. But we're all hoping for product in 2022. There's no doubt, we're aligned on that. So if the stars align and we've picked the markets, initially the minimum 3 states, which will be Florida, Michigan, and California. And
nice markets.
Yeah, they're great markets. And then the only other part of people who understand my deal style, I'm not looking for 20 cannabis partners. I want them to be our only partner. I want them to take all our products to do really great
And
things.
I was about to ask you that. If everything goes great, what's the turbo boost after that? Do you just team up with them nationwide, and do they have that scope nationwide, or do you have to go to a couple of different partners because maybe forgive me, but I don't know their complete coverage.
Yeah.
Do they have the entire US covered, or do you have to go to a second partner maybe?
Yeah, so they'll be always our first choice. We'll give them right of first refusal if we ever get into that situation. But we could also be part of the catalyst to help them grow into other markets as demand, or even look at white label applications to bring their brand into other markets. There's lots of those clever partnerships that you see already in the space. Medical is also an interesting category because it has different coverage than the rec market in the US for obvious reasons, depending on how conservative or liberal, the various
states have got medical approved as opposed to rec. So that's a great thing about the sport.
Yeah. So again, I think we're going to walk before we run. We all want to run, but I'll follow their lead. Brad's a very smart operator. He's got a very, very strong background in bringing stuff to life and, figuring his market out. So we'll follow their lead. But again, my raw commitment to him and a handshake is that, we want to grow with them. We want to enable them and fuel their success. And that's sort of our model.
And quick follow-up to just part of that question, which was, so great, you said everything goes right 2022 naturally. Can you ballpark for that? Would that be Q1 2022, Q4 2022, or you don't know yet because there's just too much up in the air for the regulatory?
Yeah, I really don't know. It really is in our space, and I really don't know what he's in the midst of. And again, knowing we haven't signed the final agreement, that even I imagine will be the catalyst for him to start making the commitments. So I just would comfortably say it's not my place to answer. So even that ballpark, I don't want to give them, angst.
No, fair enough. Right. Yeah. Listen, the reason I ask is you never know. You might have already had the conversation with Brad and his team. They might have told you, hey guys, ballpark, we got to go through this, and this, and we're expecting by Q2 or Q1 or Q3. But if they haven't, I respect that. Because you don't want to misrepresent dates and times. But at the same time, I got to ask, because again, I can hear the shareholder saying, George, ask them, it's going to be January 1st or December 30th, right?
Yeah. So it's a great question, a valid question for sure.
Yeah. So
I would say
to be determined.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say just the energy that I get from their group is they're definitely moving fast.
And when you guys signed the deal, Dennis, assuming, but I have sounds like there's a high degree of confidence that you guys are going to, the LOI is going to go to more of a definitive agreement. It'd be great if we had you and Brad on. To really get down to, because it wouldn't make sense for all of it to be laid out just yet. You still want to make sure you got the deal signed. But last question to you is that I picked off an excerpt from the press release, and you alluded to this, but the company is currently preparing a patent for submission, to the USPTO to protect its cannabinoid solubilization work, which it believes will be the cornerstone for many unique product formulations in the cannabis marketplace. So this isn't a one-off for you. You've had a history of doing this, and it sounds like you guys really putting the pedal to the metal now and expect to really expand the cannabis the marketplace side.
Yeah, and it supports our core belief that solubility is the holy grail. Anytime you can take a molecule, make it more soluble, it gives you greater options for application. And so as we look at novel product categories for a partner like Red, White, and Bloom, solubility again is the holy grail. That's always the number one limiter in efficacy, and it's why edibles are a challenge. And so, solubilized molecules in the cannabis space can also even improve how edibles are delivered and how not just with our technology. So we're very anxious to protect how we've done it. There's lots of players, working in that space that have their own techniques and stuff, but we've got a novel approach that sort of matches how we approach these sort of tougher, categories. And I think it will be a really, as I said in the release, a cornerstone to how we innovate across different product lines.
Yeah, I'm glad you said, for everybody at home, we don't really script these, and we have a general idea of the discussion we want to have, obviously, but I was thinking in my mind, who else is out there solubilizing? And you said there are some players.
Yeah.
In your opinion, though, would you guys be amongst the best, if not the best, at solubilizing technology?
Yeah, so that's a tougher science question to make the claim on, but the reason we're going after the patent is, and of course it has to be novel or you won't get granted the patent. So that it would be our belief, but I don't want to misrepresent. But again, as you look at the beverage market, there's a lot of categories in the recreational space that are important. And as we emerge with a brand for Red, White, and Bloom, we want to be their partner to help them across all the categories. So I would say, especially combined with our desiccated liposome, I think that combination for sure is an untouchable proposition. And we're anxious to prove that out.
Well, Dennis, you're going to have your chance at it now, which is great. It's not just theory. You've got a distribution partner. We know there's still many more steps. But congratulations on getting to this step, because I think this is the really important part, right? Getting someone, getting someone at the table, talking and saying, yeah, let's go for it is a major first step. So congrats, and I can't wait to have you back on to talk about, the further developments in the relationship with them. And can't wait to have you back on, because like today we're just talking about this, but there's so many other elements to Mountain Valley MD. I can't wait to have you back on now that investing season started. Everyone's back at home, and game on. Can't wait to have you back. But congrats to you and the team on this great stuff, Dennis.
Awesome. Thanks, George. Great to see you.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening to my podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To Dennis Hancock, who's President and CEO of Mountain Valley MD, trades the stock symbol MVMD in Canada, MVMDF in the United States. For those who knew the story, especially red, white, and blue investors who say, hey, who's this partner that we've got here? Now's the time to start your due diligence. 2 ways to do that. Get to the company's profile page on Agoracom first, because there's a lot of great science here, which also means it's difficult to follow. We've got it laid out in a really great layman's term, a lot like this interview. Layman understanding, good 1,000-foot view of what the company does. And then from there, link over to the Mountain Valley MD website to do your deep dive due diligence. Hopefully discover your next amazing small cap company. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.